All right, let's get cooking. Welcome to the latest edition of Chin Check Sports Radio. I'm your host, JD. I want to thank you all for taking the time out to join us. And as always, we welcome any suggestions, feedback, comments, and criticisms, which improves the quality of our program, which ultimately improves your listening experience. Once again, before we get started, we want to send you all our well wishes during the current pandemic of COVID-19. We know that this is a very stressful and trying time, and as we always say, we know that it is the uncertainty that fuels our anxiety, but let's continue to our part to stop the spread of this virus by following the safety guidelines that includes wearing our masks, practicing social distancing, washing our hands frequently, and we will get through this in no time. We want to thank you all for your tremendous support. It seems like, someone is reaching out to us every other day or once a week telling us that they found our program and they like our content, our passion. And if we can continue to serve as a distraction with everything that's going on, then that's something that we will continue to do, and we are extremely proud of doing it. We have a lot to cover on this broadcast, and we'll get ready to jump right into it. The Dallas Cowboys week 3. I'm sorry. Anything got me so damn discombobulated. The Dallas Cowboys week 5 against the New York Football Giants. Classic NFC East battle or rivalry. Definitely all my boys and family back home in Jersey, I'm sure you all were watching the game, and we definitely have a lot to unpack, so let's jump right into the stats. Quarterback Dak Prescott, 14-21 for 166 yards, 1 interception. Running back Ezekiel Elliott, 19 carries for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rookie sensation CeeDee Lamb, definitely a coming out party. 8 catches, 124 yards. Michael Gallup, 4 catches, 73 yards. On the defensive side, linebacker Jalen Smith, 14 total tackles, 7 solo, 0.5 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss. Joe Thomas, 7 total tackles, 5 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. And we had a DeMarcus Lawrence sighting, 3 total tackles, 2 solo, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. And Anthony Brown, 1 fumble recovery. The Dallas Cowboy defense gave up 300 yards, 211 passing, and 89 rushing yards. Let's really break this game down. The New York Giants, who have been woefully inept on the offensive side of the football, came out on their opening drive and scored on the Dallas Cowboys, so they took the lead against the Cowboys 7-3. Cowboys take their possession, they get a 1st and goal, they score 3 points. So definitely not a good look to start a game defensively against a team who was in bad offensively, and for some reason the Cowboys decided to make an adjustment by having defensive coordinator, or I should say much maligned defensive coordinator, Mike Nolan, standing on the sidelines versus being up in the booth. And if you look at that first possession, clearly it did not work out for even running back Devontae Freeman, who was on the street at the beginning of the season due to the injury of Saquon Barkley. He was signed, if you remember, Devontae Freeman from the Atlanta Falcons teams, and definitely was running up 7, 8, 9 yards a carry on 1st down, so definitely not a good look. On that first touchdown run, I don't know what the hell Everson Griffin was doing. Here's where you do your job and you play your responsibilities. He had outside contain. He decides to go inside. The tight end runs right past him and scores a touchdown. So, again, another awful play to begin for our defense. Definitely not a good look. The Dallas Cowboys suffered even some more turnovers. Dak Prescott throws an interception off the hands of Ezekiel Elliott. Giants pick it off. They run it back for a touchdown. Now, I have a problem with that because, once again, you're falling behind in football games, and now you have to make a comeback. You've taken the running game out of it, and now you become a passing team. So it was more of the same. I swear it was more of the same that you saw from the beginning of the game. And now you're down 17-3. You have another turnover, so it's definitely not starting off well. And again, it's the same mistakes that keep on coming up. And I keep saying this. Why in the world are they trying to force the issue of Zeke Elliott, who is the highest paid running back in football? They keep forcing the issue or trying to make him a pass catching back, and you have 3 top wide receivers to throw the ball to. So that's something again, that seems to rear its ugly head. Now, the Dallas Cowboys, in true fashion, they make some adjustments. They come back. Zeke scores a touchdown. So now they're down 17-10. We finally get the DeMarcus Lawrence sighting. In the second quarter, gets a sack fumble. Does a Giants quarterback, Daniel Jones. Anthony Brown, fresh off the injury list, returns for a touchdown. Now, I'm not great play by DeMarcus Lawrence, but I think it was much needed at this time because, again, he has been virtually non-existent really since the middle of last season. I know he kind of spoke up about improving his play as well as the play of the defense. He kind of got frustrated with people on social media who was criticizing his play or lack thereof, and he showed up today. However, the man is paid a lot of money as one of the top defensive players in the league, so I do expect that kind of play from him. I do expect him to dominate. So yes, great job, great play, tied the game up, but I'm not going to necessarily roll out the red carpet because that's what I expect from our top paid defensive end, and you're being paid top defensive player money. So definitely a good play, but definitely I'm not going to roll out the red carpet on that. Some other innocent notes in the first half. Now the Dallas Cowboys are starting to build momentum, and the Cowboys have their own, I guess you could say, I know they call it the Philly special, but I went ahead and called it the Dallas special, where, and I'm even going to go even before that, again, sloppy play could have hurt the Cowboys again in this game. Giants are going for a field goal, and they could have easily had a fake field goal for a touchdown because they were caught sleeping. The kicker then throws the ball, or whoever the kicker or the holder then throws the ball to the tight end who was wide open, and was no Cowboy even in your TV screen. But luckily, since the Giants lineman, he did not get set at the time he snapped the ball, the call was negated by a penalty. So now the Giants are now up 2017. The Cowboys, they get the ball back, they drive the ball down the field, and their version of the Philly special, or I'm going to call the Dallas special, was Dak Prescott handing the ball off to Ezekiel Elliott, who then runs left, flips the ball to wide receiver Cedric Wilson, who should be a high school quarterback, who then throws the ball to Dak Prescott in the end zone. Great play, great catch. Definitely something that they pulled that out of the trick bag because they found out, including in the Giants game and going back to the Cleveland Browns game, they've had a lot of trick plays that were ran against them. So they went ahead and ran a lot of trick plays in return. Very good play. I definitely give them credit. So now the Cowboys have built momentum. They're leading 24-20. And again, folks, special teams again. Here's where mistakes can cost you. The Cowboys, again, have all the momentum on their side. They forced the Giants out of field goal range as the Giants were driving. So the Cowboys now have forced the Giants to punt the football. And as the Giants punt, Cowboys get a penalty for 12 men on the field. I don't know how does that happen on a punt return team. So now they get 5 yards. The Giants get a field goal. So now the Cowboys are down 24-23. And at this point in the third quarter, Dak Prescott, and here's where the tone of this show is going to change. And quarterback Dak Prescott, 1st and 10, long drive from the Giants 27. He gets the ball from the shotgun with 6:45 left to go in third quarter. About a 9-yard run, comes down awkward, and you could tell instantly that something wasn't right. The way his foot was contorted and bent, you were hoping maybe his shoe was maybe knocked off, but the way he stood there holding his leg, you knew it was something wrong with his ankle, and you clearly heard the air out of that stadium leave, and you clearly saw players from the Cowboys on one knee, and you knew it was serious. Buddies of mine calling, texting, and of course I sent out texts to friends of mine, and I even called my big little bro Stancil, called him up, and we were talking about it, and it definitely was hard to watch. It's definitely hard to see his ankle like that. And I think what definitely did it was when they brought the card out, and for any football fan, you know when they bring the card out, that's not a good thing. So when they bring the card out for Dak Prescott, they go to commercial break, they bring the card out, and you can see the raw emotion in Dak's face. You can clearly see he was definitely crying. And seeing Dak cry almost made me like this. it was definitely rough seeing that, knowing that what he's been through, especially with the loss of his brother and talking about his own battles with mental illness and trying to fight for a contract. And we're going to talk about that later on. And definitely was hard to see Dak. And you could see the tears coming from his eyes, the raw emotion, the love that he got from his teammates. I mean, former head coach Jason Garrett, who is now the New York Giants offensive coordinator, him and now head coach Mike McCarthy met on the field. They gave each other hugs. So even the offensive coordinator, the former head coach, came to check on Dak. So clearly a lot of respect. You saw tweets from around the NFL, a lot of players wishing Dak the best. And we know that this is the reality of the NFL. One play can make all the difference. But for Dak, who seems to be such a great guy, he definitely, he definitely does the right thing. He definitely does what he's supposed to do. So it was definitely hard watching that, knowing how it can affect the team. But let's continue with the game. So backup quarterback, the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, former Cincinnati Bengal quarterback, who is a good backup, was a good quarterback for the Bengals, led them to numerous playoff appearances. I don't believe he has any playoff wins, but led, obviously the Bengals, who are once referred to as the Bungles, he led them to numerous playoffs. First play, gets a sack, even gets a fumble, actually recovered the fumble and is knocked off the ball. So, of course, first couple of possessions starts off a little bit rocky, but I felt he played well. He did what he was supposed to do. I look at it as, especially in that fourth quarter, he made plays that really need to be made. One play was to Amari Cooper, who really didn't have his best game today. But Amari Cooper caught one ball deep in Cowboys territory that really should have been a 7-8 yard gain. He gets a nice gain as Cowboys are driving down the field. And I believe Andy Dalton has a pretty good record of come from behind victories. And Michael Gallup, again, he had another quiet game, but makes two critical catches. Especially on the sideline. The one play where, by the instant review, we're talking about foot is up by the blade of grass or the pebbles in the grass, because we know it's not real grass, but the rubber, the pellets in the grass. So that instant replay, that was a catch. Then he had another over-the-shoulder catch where I didn't even think his foot was in bounds. Again, running a go route and made an excellent play. So Michael Gallup has come up big for the Cowboys this year. But of course, the star of the receiving show was one CeeDee Lamb. And I'm going to talk about CeeDee for a little bit. The guy definitely runs great crossing routes. And what really, really got my attention to CeeDee was when he caught one pass across the middle. And I felt the pass was kind of high from Dak. I felt the pass was extremely high. But CeeDee comes down with it and gets blasted. Helmet to helmet gets blasted. The kid holds on to the ball, gets up, and points to the first down marker. So I'm impressed with CeeDee Lamb. The kid wasn't hurt. He wasn't, I don't know if that's youth speaking, but them type of hard hits like that, definitely he would have been woozy and knocked out the game. He took the hit, stood up, he put the ball on the ground, and pointed towards the first down marker. So definitely impressed with CeeDee Lamb. The Cowboys definitely have a future star in their hands, as well as still you have Amari Cooper, as well as one Michael Gallup, who seems to make clutch catches and deep clutch catches. Now, going forward, the Cowboys, clearly Dak Prescott is going to be out for the rest of the season as the night went on, and I wanted to get more information about his injury before we did our broadcast. Compound fracture and a dislocated ankle. The bone came through the skin, so Dak can, open cells up to more infections. I'm sure he's going to get the best medical care in Dallas, Texas. And they showed a picture with him and his brother, and he seemed to be in good spirits, so that's definitely encouraging. We know his raw emotion being carted off the field. We know what overtook him, but that's okay. And his brother, the brother that's still with us, his brother that's still with us, they never took a picture in the room, so he seems to be in good spirits. So from Chin Check Radio to Dak Prescott, we wish you a speedy recovery, brother. We definitely wish you a speedy recovery, and we'll say it for the third time. Dak, if you're listening, or somebody let Dak listen to this program, Dak, brother, even though we might have criticized some of your play on the field, but you seem to be a real good guy at heart, and we definitely wish you an absolute quick and definitely a speedy recovery. Now, for the Cowboys moving forward, here's where I will not give them a pass. Because, and I tweeted this earlier, despite the loss of Dak Prescott, which is huge, and I'm not trying to minimize the loss of Dak Prescott, you still have Andy Dalton, who led his team to playoffs, so he has the experience and he's been there. And he was called the Red Rifle for a reason. You still have, on the offensive side, Ezekiel Elliott, who is a top-paid running back in football. On the offensive side, you still have one Amari Cooper, who is being paid top 5 wide receiver money. You still have DeMarcus Lawrence on the defensive side, who I just said is making top flight, top 4, top 5 defensive end money. And I have linebacker Jalen Smith, who is making top 5 middle linebacker money. And by the way, Jalen Smith, stop acting a fool and showing out on routine tackles. Make a tackle, get back into the huddle, and call the damn play, because you have not played well this season. This is your best game against a woefully inept offensive team. So let's stop with the routine playing and showboating on every routine play. That's your job. You're getting paid top five linebacker pay. Do your job, get back in the damn huddle, and call the defense. The Cowboys, what has been overlooked, the Cowboys lost Tristan Hill, another defensive tackle who they rotate in and out. Not sure if he's going to be missed. A little bit undisciplined, has ability, but a little bit undisciplined. And some other issues I have with the defense is Dontari Poe. I'm trying to figure out why she's still on the team, because I'm looking at plays where Dontari Poe was completely turned around and pushed out of his gap. That's a problem. Antoine Woods, I have my reservations about him, but that's something that Mike Nolan, that's his job to put the best players on the field. So going forward, the Dallas Cowboys really have absolutely no excuses. I'm not the one that's going to sit here and say, well, the Cowboys, they don't have Dak Prescott, so the season is over. No, you have a top-paid running back, top-paid wide receiver, top-paid defensive end, top-paid linebacker. That is more than enough on top of CeeDee Lamb, on top of Michael Gallup. There is no reason the Cowboys should not be competitive in this division, where I believe they should be leading the division with 2 wins. So I don't want to hear it. They should at least compete for a division title. So this season is not a complete loss. I don't hear no excuses, and I'm not going to give them a pass. And they will be criticized fairly by us if they don't play up to their standards. Now, I do want to go back a little bit. Folks, go back and look at the broadcast that I did about Dak Prescott understanding one's worth. And I did that broadcast in 2020 when I talked about Dak's career and him making the money that he should make and him understanding his worth and making that money. It is so prophetic now that when the man signs the franchise tag at $30-something million, the man gets hurt. This is why we say on Chin Check Radio, players, get the amount of money that you feel that you're owed and don't feel any remorse or compunction about it. You make your money, because guess what? As we just saw, one play can change fortunes. And guess what? Now Jerry has another bargaining chip to say, well, if you're coming off an injury, do I really want to give you a long-term deal? Now, this is a quarterback, Dak Prescott, who hardly ever misses a start. I don't think he's ever missed a start because of injury. And now in his 4th season has now, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, in his 5th season, has suffered his first injury, and it's a major injury. So Jerry's going to be thinking when they want to go back to the bargaining table, well, you were hurt, you missed this, you missed that, especially if Andy Dalton leads them to the playoffs. So this is why you should fight for your money, especially a long-term deal, and go back and listen to that broadcast that we did about Dak Prescott and understanding one's worth. And I agree that man should have gotten his money, because the same way he had to prove himself to get his money, they cut multiple checks to Tony Romo, and he had no problem giving him that. I know some San Francisco fans are going to be listening, but I'm looking at Jimmy Garoppolo getting benched at home versus the Miami Dolphins. And the same Jimmy G, who got a lot of money for a handful of starts. Yes, he did go to the Super Bowl, but I can make an argument he rolled the back of a great running game as well as a top 10 defense with a bunch of first rounders on the defensive line. Rolled that wave to the Super Bowl, and he's getting benched, even though it was a coach decision, but he's getting benched. I'm looking at other players. Kirk Cousins making money, and he's not on the level of Dak Prescott. These people are getting guaranteed money. So this is why we say, athletes, make your money. Dak, when you go back to the drawing board, you want a long-term deal. You want your money to to secure your future. And I just want to say this also to one bastard named Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless is sitting here and all of a sudden he's a Dak Prescott guy. Number one, I distinctly remember Skip Bayless throwing a Dak Prescott jersey in the trash. I remember Skip Bayless saying on Undisputed that when Shannon Sharpe and him was debating about how much money that Dak Prescott should get, I remember Skip saying really on the air, well, it's not about the money, it's about winning. And it's, he should give the Dallas Cowboys a hometown discount. It's not about the money. Well, Dak makes a lot of money in endorsements, so he doesn't really need the money from the Cowboys because he can make up that money in endorsements. I call bull jive on that. Make your money. In any other job in America, if you feel that you're worth something, you want that job to pay you what you're worth. That's the bottom line. So yeah, you can say, well, making this amount of millions is different than this amount of millions. It's relative. Okay, understand something. We're talking about what you feel you're worth and what the company is willing to pay you for, what the company is willing to pay you for your services. Period, bottom line. And at market value, Dak is to be paid market value. I've heard people telling me, well, he just signed a contract and they should make it incentive laden. That's not how these contracts work. You make money based on the market value and say what you want. Dak Prescott earned that money. So go back and listen to that broadcast about understanding one's worth. So again, going forward, the Cowboys have a lot to deal with. They need to hop right to work, and definitely was a lot to go with this broadcast. And we also want to send our congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers as well as LeBron James. Even though we might not agree with a lot of stuff that LeBron says, but he does come across as a very good guy, his fourth title. And for you all out there who all of a sudden now, well, he fourth ring, different team, he had to have AD and he had to, stop. The man won 4 championships. Just stop, because some of you are the same people who thought for sure that the Clippers were going to get there and the Clippers couldn't beat the Nuggets and the Lakers blew them out in 5 games. So stop. Just give the man credit where credit is due. He won his 4th ring. Live with it, deal with it. And no reason to think that the Lakers can't win another ring considering the team that they have. You still got LeBron. You still got an AD. Hopefully he can stay healthy. And try to revamp that roster a little bit. No reason to think that they can't be there next year and for the next couple of years as LeBron starts to enter the twilight of his career. So definitely congratulations to LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. Definitely an emotionally draining show. We hated to see what happened with Dak Prescott, but we wish Dak Prescott all the best. And until the next time, this is Chin Check Radio signing out.